Hello, Crafty Fox here, aka Jackie Winson. Hey, how are you? So, today I'm going to be talking about an issue that has bugged me because it's affected me, and I feel like this is an issue most people don't really understand. They understand the basics of it, but it's not something they really understand on a personal level. And they certainly don't understand how frustrating it can be. Accessibility. Now, when I say this word, I bet the first thing you think of, a person in a wheelchair being able to get into a shop or on a train, right? That is what most people think. However, accessibility is so much more than that. It's about someone who has a chronic illness, a hidden illness. It's about them being able to access the world around them in a reasonable manner that won't allow them to become ill after the activity. For example, when I go to town, I quite often use my walker. It helps me a lot, and it means that I can go to town, do what I need to do, get home again, and I usually have enough energy left over not to collapse in a heap on the bed. Take away my walker and I would be collapsed on my bed in a heap, and chances are I probably wouldn't be able to go to town and do all of the things I can do. For I can usually only manage one, maybe two shops. I've yet to achieve more than that. And I feel that people just don't get it. I get quite a few weird looks, young person using a little wheeler. People do sometimes take issue. But what it means for me, I am so restricted. Like, not only do I have to deal with people's attitudes about it, and trust me, there are some crappy attitudes out there about it. Not only do I have to deal with that, I have to deal with the physical reality of getting around using that walker. That is a walking aid that helps me. It means that when elevators break, and everything I'm about to say to you, I have experienced it. When elevators break, you have to find an alternative walk path. Sometimes you have to walk for longer because you can't do elevator, you can't do stairs. Sometimes it means you can't go into restaurants, cafes and shops because it's not accessible for you. And when I say accessible, I don't just mean being able to get into a building. I mean, can I go into that building and do every activity intended? For example, a cafe. Can I get into the building? Yes, fantastic. Can I actually take my walker to queue up for food and get my food, then go and sit at a table? Yes, sweet. Also, you would think, can I then get up and go to the toilet? And the amount of times that answer has been no, it has been so friggin' frustrating. Now, before I say this, I would like to say I do not blame the people who work at these facilities. Because one, you don't think about it unless it's happened to you. And second, so a lot of the places are in old buildings and it's just not feasible to have a toilet that is accessible. So honestly, I do get it. But whenever people then try and tell me, oh yes, this place is accessible, what's going on in my mind is, well, hang on a minute, is a toilet accessible? And sometimes that answer has been no, and I've been left feeling a little frustrated, because if I had solely planned on going because someone has said, yes, it is accessible, and then I get to a place and realise, well, hang on a minute, no, this isn't, it means that it either means one or two things. One, I can't go to the toilet, and then I will just have to return back and go back home. Or second, it means that I might have to plan something else. For example, I can manage stairs on a good day. On a bad day, I can sometimes manage it, and I just have to go down my butt. It looks hilarious, and it is hilarious, not gonna lie to you. But if I need to do that, then when I get to the bottom of the stairs, I need a walking stick to be able to get myself back up again. If I think a place is accessible, chances are I won't bring my walking stick. But if I know a place isn't accessible, I will bring my walking stick. So if you're planning events, it is always worth bearing that in mind as well. But again, I am not pinpointing anyone. I am not appointing blame. I get it. It's just not something you think about, because when I say accessible, you think about, can a wheelchair get into a building? And that is pretty much the extent that your thought goes into. And I get it. I honestly do. It doesn't make it any less frustrating. Doesn't make my life any easier. But I do get it. Another thing I would like to talk about, it's not just the physical accessibility. It's the mental accessibility. For someone who has things like ADHD, autism, dyspraxia, anything like that. I know there are others, but those are the top 3 that kind of come to mind, so I'm using them as an example. Now, depending on where you are on the spectrum, if you go into a pub that has very, very loud music and they won't turn it down, or if you're going into a place that is going to be absolutely ridiculously busy and you know it's going to be busy, that is something you also need to address. You just need to say, have a post that is entitled accessible and have all of the information, like, can you get into the building, can you get to the toilet, is it loud, are you going to, for people who struggle with it, if they're going into a noisy situation, they might just take a pair of earplugs or something, or they might just take something like a fidget spinner, a stress ball, or what I do quite often, if I know I'm going to be stressed, I tend to take a sketchbook and pencil and I'll just sit there drawing up. And that is a great coping mechanism, because art is also my business, so that plays in really well with that. But if we don't know about it, we don't know to prepare for it. And, it is so frustrating. Oh my goodness, sometimes I am so amazed at how much able-bodied people can do. It just astounds me, it really does. But when you're not able-bodied, or, when, like me, I do have days where I'm really good, I can get a lot done. Like this week, I've been really busy sorting various stuff out, but it has also left me open to feeling a little on the run down side. I can feel a cold coming on, and the fact that I've been so busy hasn't helped with that. It probably wouldn't stop the cold or stop me feeling so tired, but it certainly would have helped it. So so I sometimes say that my physical health is fluid. So when I go out, I need to know these things. I need to know about the toilets. I need to know about the noise levels. I need to know if it's going to be super busy. I need to know, can I get a walker in there? All of those things, and people just don't think about it. But I want to try and really get the point across to you that you have no idea how much help it is just by saying venue is noisy, it isn't accessible, or the toilet is down a flight of stairs, because then we can make our decisions based on our needs on the day. And it helps us to be able to go out and enjoy activities. And it also helps you as well, because if you haven't thought to be upfront about how accessible something is, or if you just haven't thought to think about the toilet or the noise levels, and then you get someone coming into your social group who leaves really quickly after that, you probably will end up feeling a little bit guilty. That person won't blame you. They might feel a bit frustrated, but, they won't blame you. They won't hate you. But you're still going to feel a little bit guilty. So it's just worth bearing in mind that not everyone is going to have full mobility. So just be upfront and honest and go the extra mile to find the information as well. And if you don't know, you can just say, I don't know. That's fine. And another thing that I'm really keen on, now, this doesn't affect me. Blind people. I follow a YouTuber, Molly Burke. Molly Burke, I love you. You're amazing. She's blind. And one moment. I left a tap running. And that's actually, that is a fantastic fibromyalgia move. I've been super busy, I'm very tired, I've got a little bit of brain fog, so I forgot to turn the tap off. Small things like that, brain fog, that's very classic, that's very classic me move, that. So, with blind people, it's just worth, if there are stairs involved, if there's going to be a massive amount of activity, if you're planning on, for example, if you're planning on going to the theme park, is it accessible for them? And what I mean by this, when someone is blind, they might have the guide dog with them, and so will the theme parks allow the guide dog to go on all the rides with them, for example? It could mean that I'm fairly certain that it's against the law to refuse access to a guide dog. But if that person then has to go up 4 flights of stairs, that might be really hard to do and navigate. So if, again, it is just worth mentioning the stairs, because it's not just... Would being blind count as a physical activity? No, a physical disability, sorry, not activity. Brain fog. I think it probably would be. So I should probably rephrase that and not put it in a different category. It's in a different category to of autism, fibromyalgia, and being in a wheelchair for sure, but it is still a physical disability. So I think, is there stairs? Is it going to be really noisy? Because if you're blind and it's going to be really crowded and really noisy, again, this could affect how you manage and deal with things. So just get as much information as you can and, help us out. Not many people do, and we're kind of used to not being given the consideration because not many people do. And even the nicest people out there, they just don't think about it. And that, that's fine, but also I would like to try and educate people on this as well. So this isn't you're doing it wrong, you're horrible for not doing it. It's just, hey, have you considered doing this? Because it would help a few people out. Another thing, on Facebook, if you have a picture, have a written description of that as well, because that will help people who use speech to voice software. Another thing that I want to try and do as well, I can't do it for this video, which is really, really ironic, but I might find a way of making it accessible for deaf people as well, because obviously you're not going to be able to understand anything I am saying because I'm speaking fast as well, unless you are ridiculously good at lip reading. So subtitles. I need to get a bit of software that will allow me to do that, but unfortunately that isn't something I can do right now, but that is definitely something I will look into. I'm all about accessible. I try my best to be accessible. Where I feel the need, I do like to point it out to other people as well, but I don't like doing that too much because it can sometimes come across as me being a bit picky about it. So accessibility. Now, a little bit of an update. This is my YouTube channel. I don't know what direction I'm going in. I'm posting this video because I kind of just needed to vent, to be honest with you. And I wanted to, this is not a subject that is spoken enough about, and I just wanted to try and give you some information and try and share, some of my frustrations as a disabled person. I also wanted to, give the hidden illnesses a little bit of a voice as well. And hopefully, hopefully what you will do is take away from this is, oh, well, I can certainly find out if the toilet's accessible, and I can certainly think to include if I think it's going to be noisy and have loud music. It's, it's easy enough to do. So it would be really cool. And a lot of it, honest to God, it's just habit. So I'm still not in the full habit of making my business accessible. I'm working on it, and I'd probably say if someone is blind, I think my work is accessible. I haven't made it accessible for someone who is deaf, so I need to work on that. I've tried to make it as accessible for people who do have autism and things like that as well. But small steps, and we'll see how, we'll just see how we get on with it. Right, I will hopefully see you soon. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. And also, I'm really proud because I have converted my art easel into a tripod. It works.